we're going to talk about triangles. A lot of this stuff is already review, so we're not going to spend an incredible amount of time on it. And then you'll have the rest of the time to work on your assignment. So the biggest thing we need to get from the start of this lesson is the fact that just because it looks like it's a certain way doesn't always mean it is a certain way. So you need to remember that you have to be able to prove your answer. So as you look up here, it says in the diagrams below, which pairs of lines are perpendicular? Now remember what I said. Just because it looks a certain way doesn't mean it is a certain way. So, do we have any pairs of perpendicular lines there? Any pairs of perpendicular lines?
Oh, it's J. Just kidding.
Yep.
That was an L.
Line JK is perpendicular to what line? JM. Do we have any other pairs of perpendicular lines? No, they look like it, but they aren't. Okay, no, they don't have to be because they aren't parallel lines. Okay, if you're wondering why these aren't, it's because you don't know that the lines are parallel. Okay, if the lines were parallel, and that's eventually something we will learn, you will know. And they look that way, but they could be off a degree and you won't be able to tell. All right, let's look at the next one. Which pairs of lines are parallel? AB.
And CD.
Okay, any others?
No.
So AB is parallel to CD. Any others? Which pair of triangles is congruent? Okay, let's look at the next one. And so if you look here at triangles, okay. Okay, you know that S and X are the same. You know that T is congruent to what? Y.
Why are you smiling and laughing?
Interesting times in class. Okay, what is U congruent to? Z. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to compare sides. So I know that XY here has one tick mark, so does ST. Once again, look at that, it's between the orange and the red. The next one, between XZ, between the orange and the pink, is 2 tick marks. Orange and the pink is 2. And then last but not least, if you notice this one, I have 3 tick marks between the pink and the red, 3 tick marks between the pink and the red. Therefore, you can conclude that triangle STU is congruent to what triangle? Be careful, what is S the same as? X, what is T the same as? Y, and then Z. Okay? Probably should have done that a different color, just so it's not so, there we go, that'll be a little bit better. Not so, there, much better. Okay, so triangle STU is congruent to triangle XYZ. All right, let's look at the next page. These are review. Right triangle, acute angle, triangle, and obtuse triangle. These are how you classify a triangle by angles. So you have 2 classifications, by angles and by sides. These are the by angles. A right triangle is a triangle with exactly 1 right angle. You should already know that. Okay, you might not need to write it down because you'd be like, well, I already know it has 1 right angle. An acute triangle is a triangle with 3 acute angles. Once again, you probably already remember that. And then last but not least, an obtuse triangle is a triangle with exactly 1 obtuse angle. Now notice here with obtuse and right. Why do we have the word, why do we have the word exactly? Why can't it be more than 1?
Because
All triangles add up to what? 180 degrees. So you can't have 2 90 degrees because you won't have anything left for the third. Okay? Same with the obtuse. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at how we classify them by sides. We have the scalene triangle, which is a triangle with no congruent sides. We have an equilateral triangle, which is a triangle with 3 congruent sides. Okay, so scalene and equilateral. I'm forgetting one. Does anybody remember what it is? Isosceles. Now, there's a definition up here that's going to be a little different. Okay, so now these were by sides. Okay, scalene has no congruent sides. Equilateral has 3 congruent sides. Now, if you didn't quite get these down, okay, just leave a space and I will come back to this slide when we're done. Okay. An isosceles triangle is a triangle with at least. Biggest thing you need to see here, those 2 words, at least 2 congruent sides. So that means an isosceles triangle could also have 3 congruent sides. Now down below is a picture of an isosceles triangle and some different terms. First of all, we have our congruent sides, which are labeled in pink. These are the congruent sides. Okay. In between the 2 congruent sides will be the vertex angle. So the vertex angle is between there we go. So between the 2 congruent sides, for some reason the pen's already big, I'm going to have to make it a little bit smaller. So it's a good arrow. There we go. And then we have the base angles. The base angles are located opposite the congruent sides. Okay? They are located opposite the congruent sides. Now a little bit about the base angles. Base angles are congruent. Okay, so those angles are congruent. And then last but not least, you have the base. The base is located between the base angles, and there's only one base. Now it's important you understand all 3 of those things, the base angles, and the vertex angle. So, questions on that? That's all I have for today. Here's your assignment. Okay, page 62 through 63, 1 through 24, and 26. A little bit about this. When it says to sketch, you do not have to be, you don't have to measure and be very detailed. Like an example, if you were going to draw a 40-degree angle, you can draw that, approximate it, you don't need to use your protractor. Now when it says use your protractor, that's where you need to be super exact. Okay, so if it just says to sketch, you can just sketch and draw your angles in, etc. But if it says to use your protractor, then or use your ruler, then you have to be exact.